Hello, 7th graders, and welcome to Lesson 2-9 on solving one-step inequalities by adding or subtracting. In tonight's lesson, we have two objectives. First, you will be able to solve one-step inequalities using subtraction, and secondly, you will be able to solve one-step inequalities using addition. So, come along and let's get started. Now, for our warm-up tonight, it says solve each equation. Now, I know on some of these you could probably look and say, oh, I know exactly what k is, or I know exactly what n would be. But back in probably about lesson 2-2 or 2-3, I think it was, we talked about how you exactly solve these equations, how you do something to both sides. So we're going to go back to that. I'll do number 1 with you again as a little reminder. We have the variable m, so some number n plus 7 is 5. Well, you need to find your variable and then get rid of that number that's on the same side. So for number 1, we have m plus 7, but I just want n. So I need to, instead of add 7, I subtract it, because that'll get rid of it. And if I do it to one side, I do it to 2. So I have n is equal to, well, 5 minus 7. I have integers here, so that one's positive, one's negative, so I subtract them. 7 minus 5 is 2. 7 is a bigger number, and it was negative. So n is negative 2. All right, so I would like you to do 2, 3, and 4 as a warm-up. And when you're all done, you can check your answers, and then we'll move on to the lesson. So go ahead and get started now. All right, so for number 2, I have k minus 8 is the same as 11. Well, my variable is k, and they're subtracting 8 on the same side, so I need to add 8 to both sides. And I get k is the same as 11 plus 8, which is 19. All right, number 3, I have 12 plus the number h is the same as 21. My variable is h, and 12 is on the same side. That 12 is positive, so I subtract it. And I'm left with h is the same as, well, 21 minus 12 is 9. And then finally, number 4, 6 is the same as n minus 23. Well, my variable is n, and that minus 23 is on the same side. The opposite of subtracting it is adding it. I'm going to add it, and I'm left with 29 is equal to, or the same as, 10. So that's your warm-up for tonight. All right, so now we're going to be basically doing the same thing in tonight's lesson. However, the main difference here is there's inequalities this time around. So instead of having equal to, you're going to have a greater than, or a less than, or a greater than or equal to sign in front. But they work the same way. If you look at that subtraction property of inequality, you can subtract the same number from each side of an inequality. That's the same subtraction property of equations. It's just now saying it's an inequality. So here's what I want you to do. I want you for now to pretend this sign isn't here and just treat it as if it was just one of those problems we did earlier this chapter. So pretend it's 4 plus s is equal to 12 right now, because then you know how to solve it. You get the variable by itself by getting rid of any numbers on the same side. So here I have the variable s, and on the same side is the number 4. Well, I need to get rid of that 4, so it's just s is equal to. So, in order to get rid of a positive 4, I subtract it. And again, if you do it to one side, you do it to both. And I'm left with s, and well, 12 minus 4 is 8. Now go back to the original, and oh, s is less than. So I switch it to x is less than 8. There we go. So now let's look at I want you to do the same thing I just did. Again, pretend this inequality sign isn't here for now, and that you just have negative 16 is equal to y minus 14. Solve it how you normally would, then go back and put that sign, that inequality sign, back on. So go ahead and solve for y. Pause me now. All right, so in order to get y by itself, we have to add 14 to both sides. So if I do that, well, then I have a negative 16 plus 14. Again, we're adding integers here, and they have different signs, so I just subtract them. If they have different signs, you always subtract. And I get 2. And let's see, the bigger number is 16, and it started as a negative. So I have a negative 2, and then I have y. Now I'm going to erase what I crossed out, and it's greater than or equal to. Now, the most appropriate way to write this is with the variable first. So really, you should switch it. So basically, you flip it around. So I'm going to write y, and then I look. Again, the point is towards the y, and then the open mouth is towards the negative 2. So point towards y, open mouth to negative 2, and draw my sign, and then write it. There we go. So y is less than or equal to negative 2. All right, so now we have a word problem. Suppose your computer's hard drive has a capacity, meaning it holds 6 gigabytes. The files you have stored on the hard drive occupy at least 2 gigabytes. How much storage space is left for other files? So this time, they don't write it out for you. You are kind of left to figure it out on your own. But I will tell you this. All right, so right now, you know there are 2 gigabytes used. All right, we know there's some left over. We don't know quite what it is yet, but we know your computer holds at most, meaning less than or equal to 6 gigabytes. All right, go ahead and try to figure out what you'd write as an inequality, and then go ahead and solve it right away. And when you're all done, go back and check your answer with me and see if you got this. So go ahead and pause me now. So let's check your answer. All right, so we know that you used up 2 spaces, or 2 gigabytes right now, and we know there is some space left. So I'm just going to call that G. All right, you might have chosen another variable again, that's okay. And I keep that sign less than or equal to, because you can't store more than 6 gigabytes. 6 gigabytes. So it has to be less than, or it could be exactly equal to that 6. And so you're left with that. So now you had to solve for G. Well, you look on the same side as this 2, so I subtract it. And I'm left with G is less than or equal to 4 gigabytes. All right. So that is what you should have had for an answer. Let's keep moving. So now, before we did the subtraction property of inequality, now we're going to look at the addition property. And again, it works the same way. You can add the same number from each side of an inequality. So as long as you do the same thing to both sides, that inequality is equal. All right? So we have here negative 10 is less than negative 13 plus q. So again, you're going to go through those same steps. Find your variable, which is here q. Find the thing on the same side. Well, here we have that negative 13 on that side. Because it's a minus or negative 13, to get rid of it, you have to add 13. The signs have to be opposite of each other. Cross it out. And you do it to both sides. So now I have negative 10 plus 13. Well, again, my signs are different, so I need to subtract them up. So I take the bigger number, subtract the smaller. 13 minus 10 is 3. And let's see, 13 is a bigger number, and in this problem it was positive. So this must be a positive 3. I'm going to carry down the sign, and then I have the variable q. So I have 3 is less than q, but again, we want to make sure we have our variable first. So I'm going to flip it. So q, and this time the open mouth is towards the q, so the 2 dots are facing q, and the point is facing 3. I like to make these dots, that way I make sure I get them right. And then I have the number 3. So q is greater than 3. All right. We are at the end of your lesson, and it says time to check your understanding. I would like you to do number 1 and 2 first, and then when you're all done, come back and check your answer. It's just good extra practice. If you want to go right on to 3, I suppose you could, but I'm going to tell you to do that in a moment anyways, once we check these. So go ahead, pause me, and do 1 and 2. All right, so let's check your understanding. For number 1, we have e plus 4 is less than or equal to 14. Well, my variable is e, and they have plus 4, so I need to subtract that 4. And I am left with e, carry down my sign, is less than or equal to 14 minus 4 is 10. That's my answer. Number 2, I have negative 22 is greater than or equal to g minus 6. Well, my variable is g, and on that same side is at minus 6. To get rid of it, I'd add 6. All right, and let's see. Well, I have negative 22 plus 6. I might not know that on the top of my head, but I do know they're opposites. One's negative, one's positive, so I subtract them. 22 minus 6 is 16. All right, and I take a look. 22 is a bigger number, and in the original, it was negative. So I have a negative 16 is greater than or equal to g. Or if I flip it, again, I do g first, and let's see. The point is facing g with the open at 16. So point at g, open towards the negative 16. And I have g is less than or equal to negative 16. Now, for number 3, a number q plus the opposite of 5 is less than or equal to 0. Let's see if you can write that. Again, I'm going to have you pause me, and I want you to write it. Then, right away, see if you can solve it. All right, so go ahead and pause me again. All right, so for number 3 here, you keep going back to basically writing expressions or inequalities and equations from words. So you need to be able to find those key terms. So Q plus the opposite of 5. Well, so a number that is the same distance from 0 as 5 is negative 5 is less than or equal to 0. So that is what I have. So now I need to get Q by itself. Well, if I take a look, I have Q plus a negative 5. All right. Well, to get rid of this, basically, I need to look at the number here. It is a negative 5. In order to get rid of that, I need to add 5 to it. So on this one, you got to ignore that plus sign because it was just adding a negative number to it. All right, so we add 5 to both sides, and we are left with Q is less than or equal to 0 plus 5 is 5. All right, so that is your lesson for tonight. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow in class. Bye-bye.